and welcome to Hardware Heaven. Today we are going to be taking a look at an XMG laptop. Now this is actually a custom build laptop that I chose the specs myself because I actually purchased this laptop for my own personal use. So I'm going to be taking a look at what the laptop looks like, what the inside is, basically the specs. We'll be doing some benchmarks and seeing how it compares to the Razer Blade, which is the most recent laptop that I reviewed. The reason I'm comparing these is purely because the specs are quite similar, however the price difference is quite drastic, and we'll see how these perform against each other and what one I would recommend you guys purchasing if you're looking for a high-end gaming laptop. Let's get right into today's review. So let's start by looking at the laptop itself. As you can see from first impressions, it's a pretty plain laptop design. It's got the XMG logo on the top, and you can pick from matte or shiny designs. I personally chose matte to reduce glare when using it outside or generally with a lot of light in the area. On the back we can see various ports for video output. You have an external screen on the laptop. We've also got the power input AC port here. On the right hand side we've got headphone in, mic in, a USB 2.0 port and the DVD CD optical drive. Then on the left hand side we've got an Ethernet port, two USB 3.0 ports and an eSATA port. Then moving on to the screen and the keyboard. This is actually a 15.6 inch screen working at 1920 by 1080p resolution. We've got a full keyboard here with the number pad on the right hand side as well. This keyboard I actually opted for the backlit UK keyboard, so there is backlighting and you can customize the colors, which I'll go into in a few moments. We've got various media keys which we can press a function key to work alongside the F keys. We've got a speaker bar along the top, and then we've got the power button here located on the left hand side. Now let's just do a quick test to show you how quickly this turns on. It's currently running Windows 8. You can customize that, but I just specifically chose Windows 8 because it was actually the cheapest option for 64-bit. So let's just turn this on. As you can see, that turns on really quickly, and we can just simply now log into Windows 8 as you would normally. Now let's go through some key features and the actual specifications that I've got inside the laptop. Now this laptop is actually Intel i7 running at 2.4 gigahertz. It's got a GTX NVIDIA graphics card, which is a 675MX, which is a mobile graphics card. It's got 8 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance RAM. It's got a 750 gigabyte SATA hard drive. It's using Killer Wireless N1202 with Bluetooth Wi-Fi technology. And as I said before, it's running on Windows 8. Now, I actually installed a mini SSD into the laptop, and I'll show you that now. The reason I did this is because I didn't want to pay the extra to have a mini SSD installed into the laptop when it comes out of the factory when I had one laying around. So I actually just took the laptop apart, installed the mini SSD, which is really simple. I'll show you how to do that now. And then you can install the operating system and your games on the SSD, which makes it run a lot faster. And then you can have all of your documents, fraps footage, things like that on the hard drive. So let's go into that now. So when putting in a mini SSD into your laptop, you want to first make sure that it is turned off and that you remove the battery to make sure that nothing happens with the battery in. You don't want to fuse anything, you don't want to cause any issues. And then you simply want to unscrew the screws located around the outside of the casing so that you can take this off and access what's inside. So let's quickly do that now. Now that you've unscrewed it, make sure you keep these screws secure and then simply slide off the back of the laptop. And you'll notice here that we've got our Corsair Vengeance RAM just located there, and I'll just tilt this up for you so you can get a better view. Now our mini SSD that I actually put in is located here. Now the way that you do it is you simply slot in the SSD, firstly unscrewing the little screw that you'll be able to see. If I bring this closer, you'll be able to see a little screw located here. You unscrew that, slot in the SSD, press it down and screw that back on, and that's simply how you install it. Then you're going to want to reinstall Windows onto that SSD and have everything else running off the hard drive. So currently I have 256GB mini SSD as well as a 750GB hard drive, so that's plenty of space, if not more, for a laptop. Let's go over a few key features that XMG list on their websites as really the selling points. As I said, it's got the GTX 675M graphics card, which means we have DirectX 11 and PhysX technology. It also uses Intel Crystal Clear HD to make the screen a lot brighter and clearer. Now, as I mentioned, we have a backlit keyboard. Now, you can actually change the backlighting with some functions on the keyboard. You simply hold FN and this key to turn it down and this key to turn it back up. We can then press this button here to actually change the colours that we want on the backlighting. So I've currently got it going from red to pink to red. You can change it to dancing so that it flashes depending on sound. You can change it to tempo. It could flash. It could do a wave. It could breathe, which is where it pulses. Or it could cycle through the spectrum of colour. The sound quality on this laptop is great. The soundbar that we have here, which is installed by Onkyo, is actually extremely powerful. It really does give a really clear sound, something that isn't really focused a lot on in gaming laptops. However, when you are gaming, you would realistically use a headset. It does utilise the Creative THX True Studio Pro sound drivers to increase the sound quality, not only on the laptop itself, but when you're pushing sound through a headset. So now we've taken a look at the features, we've gone through all of the specifications, everything that you'll need to know. You've got a feel for the build of the laptop and how high quality the parts are. So let's do some benchmarks and see how it rates against some of its competitors, and mainly focusing on the Razer Blade. We're going to take a look at some various benchmark technology as well as other games that we can compare them against. The first test that we did was the 3D Mark Cloud Gate benchmark. Now we actually got a score of 12,420, whereas the Razer Blade actually got a score of 9,964. So there's a dramatic increase in performance on the XMG on this specific test. Next, we did the Firestrike test on 3D Mark, which is an extreme test designed for high-end gaming PCs. That's why this laptop only got a score of 2,436, however still beating the Razer Blade, which got a score of 1,707. As you can see, again, this laptop extremely outperforms the Razer Blade in these specific tests. The results on PC Mark were pretty similar to that of the Razer Blade. For video playback, it got 23.29 FPS, whereas the Razer Blade got 23.15. For storage, the XMG got 15.65 megabytes a second, whereas the Razer Blade got 15.49. And for graphics, the XMG got 20.68 FPS, whereas the Razer Blade got 21.59 FPS. Then we used the Tomb Raider 2013 benchmarking tool, where we got a minimum, max and average FPS. For minimum, on high settings at 1080p, we got 31 FPS. For max we got 74, and for average we got 57. Then we did the same benchmarking on ultra settings, where we got a minimum FPS of 31, max of 46, and average of 37.9. Then we ran the power mark test, which says that at 85% charge used, the runtime was 106 minutes. So that gives us an hour and 56 minutes, which isn't that much, but there's not really much else we could expect from this kind of laptop. In conclusion, you can see that the XMG P502 gaming laptop with my specifications works really well. It's got really great features, it performs well in games, and all of the benchmarks we did, it performed a lot higher than that of the Razer Blade. Now, considering this laptop costs £1,300 and the Razer Blade costs £2,500, there is a massive difference in price. However, the XMG performs a lot higher. I would definitely recommend this laptop, although it doesn't look that great. They could have put a little bit more effort into what it looks like and the exterior. Everything else seems to be pretty much perfect. It's got USB slots on both sides of the laptop so that you can have your mouse on one side and your other devices on the other. It's got space in between in case you've got bigger devices, which is one of the problems we had with the Razer Blade. It's also got audio and mic ports separated, which the Razer Blade did not. The battery life could be a little bit better, but let's face it, anything that is a high performance laptop that is going to be focused on gaming isn't going to last that long. You're looking for something that's portable but not completely running off its own battery. Just under 2 hours would be perfectly fine if you're on a train journey, doing some business work, but if you are looking to game, you're probably going to need it to be plugged in. Apart from that, I'm going to be giving this laptop a gold. I gave the Razer Blade a recommended because there were some things that I thought could have been better. The XMG improves on those faults, and I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for something that's portable but also can replicate the specs of your home desktop gaming PC. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask them in the section below and we'll try our best to answer them, and I'll see you next time. Bye!